Okay, so here we have a 2005 Vespa GT200 that I bought on a salvage title on a salvage auction site. And you can see I'm missing a few parts here. And what I'm going to try to do today is remove this big dent, or a series of dents. First thing I'm going to try and do is use some hot and cold, or you use cold first. You can use any spray lubricant thing, but this one said it was super cold. I bought it on Amazon. And then this is a little butane lighter that I also got on Amazon. And so I'll attempt to heat it, to cool it, and then heat it using some techniques I learned on YouTube. First, I'm going to try and remove the trim as well as remove anything that could absorb some of the heat and cold that I'm trying to do here. So I'll probably pull this stuff back. Yeah, I'm gonna have to bang on this anyway with a hammer eventually. So I'll pull all this stuff off this side. I'm gonna do the heating and cooling inside my garage, which is not a great idea, but I also have a fire extinguisher here because something could go wrong. Okay, stay tuned. So this is a salvage machine, like I said. So this end got pretty crunched up. And you can also see that the fan that goes on top of this has a little bit of an oval shape to it. So I'm going to see, and a crack. I'm going to see if I can straighten that out. But I removed 3 bolts to get the fan off. This one has a peg in it over here, and then 1, 2, 3 screws, and then that screw fell down. I'm going to show you how I'm going to get that out later. And then I removed 3 nuts and a screw, and I think the screw was in the upper right over here for that, for the to actually pull the radiator. So I'm going to put those down, and I'll try and yank the radiator off. Oh, I'm going to make a note of this as well. I'm going to clip this little zip tie down here that's holding this on. At some point, I'm going to have to empty out all the water out of here. Let's see. In trying to get the radiator off, I've had to wrestle with these crappy little clamps that don't have any screws on them. Never seen hose clamps like this except in the Scooter West videos where they talk about them and they talk about replacing them with something better. So I just dremeled through this. Be careful, of course, not to dremel through your hose. I have no idea how this thing is properly supposed to open, so I'm just going to get rid of them. Well, you missed some excitement. I've got the radiator out. Didn't properly plan for it leaking water, but so you can see kind of a mess down here beneath. Don't put your electric tools directly underneath your Vespa when you're about to release a torrent of coolant. Also then behind the radiator was a radiator shroud that was pretty easy to pull out. You can see it's pretty bent up as well. The radiator holds water. I've ridden it on the highway for a number of miles, but it just looks so crooked. I don't know. I wonder if there's a way to straighten that and get it in line with what I'm hoping to straighten out here. This stuff is a little bent, but it's metal. And I'm hoping to straighten that out, especially this part. That's the real cosmetic part there. I should probably do the other side as well so I can have a reference point of something that is straight. We'll see what I do. Oh, I remembered why I started recording before. Every time I remove one of these zip ties, I'm trying to take video of it so I remember. This is the fan, and beneath here I can feel there's a little connector in there somewhere. And so if I snap this zip tie and undo this, I'm sure I'll be able to disconnect the fan and get it out of the way. Here's a neat little trick. I don't think you really need this tool in this case, but I'm going to use this, what is it called? General Mini Light and Magnet. Try and let it focus. It's not fully focusing there, but it's a little extendable light magnet. You turn on the light at the end like that. You got a little pen light, and there's a magnet in there. So if this were really far down, oh, of course it doesn't work so well when your entire bike is metal. Anyway, you get the idea. I snagged a little bolt that I had dropped down there. Pretty nice. I didn't need the magnet or the light in this case, but it saved me a couple times. Okay, another little piece of advice. It's kind of obvious, but it's pretty useful, is to label things as you're taking them apart. So I don't know if I'm able to hold this and at the same time, but I'm going to basically put this piece of tape on there that says fan. That'll go to this, and I'll wrap it around. And then this useless piece of wiring here on the left side of the Vespa GTSs, it goes to, it's optional and it doesn't seem to be used a lot. It goes to either a fan, no, sorry, that's the fan. That is the alarm and like intercom system or something that nobody ever installs or uses. So I'll just label that alarm not used, and that will remind me later to not freak out that it's not connected to anything. I'm realizing to really get at the metal that's underneath here, I want to pull up this plastic, which is all one piece flowing all the way across here. And I was looking for bolts or screws or anything. All I saw was this little guy here, so I pulled that out. Of course, that didn't do anything. It's still firmly attached. But the rubber pieces in the floorboards come up if you pry at them kind of carefully with your fingernails, and you'll find the screws under there. It feels like, I think I'm doing it right, it feels like you really want to be careful though to not rip these things in half. So I'm going to pry these all up and unscrew all the screws, and then I think this larger bottom centerpiece of the floorboard should come up. Just as an FYI, you don't really need to remove all three rubber strips here on the floorboard to get that off. The screws are just inside the first one right here. I'll probably pull them off the other side as well, just because I'm going to clean this up and paint it. One other interesting little thing was, so for this rear piece, there's a screw here. There's also a screw down here, just Phillips heads. So remember to get that, because otherwise it's a pain to get off. And after you do that, you really don't need you don't have to do anything with the foot peg, which was kind of surprising to me. I think that can stay in, and the whole piece will come off. I'm going to unscrew this so I don't mar more paint. I'll put that there. Let's see if this whole thing can come off with one hand. Oh, not one-handed. I'm going to need to put this down and mess with it with two hands. But you can see, basically the whole thing's moving and it's going to lift off. So I pulled that footrest right up, and it came up straight away after I had all the bolts undone. I'm looking at this and I'm realizing I'm going to want to mess with the metal and paint it and everything, so I'm going to need to take this right side off as well. Just a reminder for myself. I see 1, 2, 3 little straps there that I'm going to cut. And I've got more of these crappy things. Hopefully, because I already loosened it over here and you can see the green, hopefully it's down in the system where there's nothing left in here at this point. I'm not certain of that. I'm just guessing.